You know that feeling of playing something really special on your piano or synth, but you weren't recording, so that idea was never captured, and it never will be. At least, not in the same way. Enter this little doodad called the Jamcorder, which connects via MIDI and automatically records everything you play as soon as you play it, so that you can reference or even export that very performance and use it on your track. I've actually had the chance to try out the Jamcorder for myself, so I wanted to share with you guys what all it does, how it works, and if it's even worth picking up for yourself. So how does this thing even work? Essentially, you connect the Jamcorder via 5-pin MIDI or USB MIDI to your piano or synth. From there, the Jamcorder is on and ready to record as soon as you hit the first note, and then will stop recording automatically after about 3 seconds of not receiving MIDI data. From there, you open up the Jamcorder app, select the date and time of that performance so that you can play it back either on your phone or back through your keyboard via MIDI, and you can see the notes as they're being played on that app. You can even share this performance as an audio file, video file, or MIDI file straight from the app. It's important to note here that the app is completely optional, as you can just pull the SD card and get the MIDI files off of it that way. But in my opinion, the app really does elevate this experience and makes getting and sharing those MIDI files that much quicker. According to the website, the included 16GB SD card can hold about 25,000 hours of playing, which that's a lot of hours. You gotta remember that the Jamcorder is only recording when you're playing, even though it's always armed to record. And eventually, if you needed to free up space, you can easily go in there and delete the files that you're never going to use. But if you really felt like you needed more storage, you can always just get a bigger SD card and plug it into the Jamcorder, and it'll work the same way. By the way, if you're enjoying this video in any way, consider leaving a like and subscribing for more videos like this. Now, let's talk about the process of setting this thing up, because there are a few things you'll need to do before everything is automatic. Firstly, you'll need to make sure that the Jamcorder is connected to power, which makes sense. Fortunately, I was able to power mine by plugging in one of the included USB cables to the back of my CP73. If that's not an option for you, then you can just plug into your computer or use one of those power bricks that I'm sure you have lying around. Then you connect the Jamcorder to your keyboard either by USB MIDI or 5-pin MIDI, and then you're ready to go. If you do want to use the Jamcorder app, which I highly recommend, you'll need to go into your Bluetooth settings and select the Jamcorder device. And then once you connect the first time, it should connect automatically every time after that. Then you can go into the Jamcorder app and it'll recognize your device right away so that you can find what you're looking for, play it back, and export it. Now, before I give you my honest thoughts on the Jamcorder, I do want to talk about some additional features that I really appreciate. So let's say you want to use the Jamcorder, but you have 2 different keyboards. You could buy 2 different Jamcorders. However, you could also just plug one keyboard into the 5-pin MIDI ports and the other keyboard into the MIDI USB port, and they will both work, which is cool. You can also use the Jamcorder as a Bluetooth MIDI bridge, essentially. So even though you can connect your keyboard to the Jamcorder and your computer at the same time, you may also benefit from using Bluetooth MIDI every once in a while, maybe to your phone, and the Jamcorder actually creates that bridge for you. Also, the Jamcorder has built-in Wi-Fi, so if you'd rather connect it to your computer than your phone, you can just connect to the network that the Jamcorder puts out and go to jamcorder.local to access your files there. I also appreciate that the Jamcorder has a unique personality in the way that it's this light blue little guy that has an indicator light that, yeah, turns red when it's recording and green when it's on and not recording, but it also does some other fun things. When I connected to the app for the first time, it prompted me to update the Jamcorder to the latest firmware, and while it was updating, it started emitting a range of colors and would play like little jingles as it accomplished something during the update, sort of like an old video game. It'll also make a little bloop or little noise when you do things like connect your phone. Little details like that are not like a requirement for developing something like this, so it just feels like something that came from the mind of a fellow creator, and it gives the Jamcorder this personality similar to like R2-D2 or something. I'm a huge Star Wars guy. Let me know in the comments down below if you found any of those additional features interesting. Alright, now I want to give my honest thoughts on the Jamcorder. And to be totally transparent, the guy who created the Jamcorder, his name is Chip, he did send me this so that I could do a review of it, but he's not requiring or restricting anything that I say in this video. I've said a lot of really positive things in this video, and those are all legitimate. Firstly, the app is excellent and fast. I think it would be cool to see the web-based version be a bit more like the app, even though It still does a ton, and I'm sure that involves a lot more work than I imagine it does, but I'm also sure that they're working on improving things around the clock. Next, and this isn't so much a con of using the Jamcorder, but more so a con of using Bluetooth MIDI in general. If you're playing simple melodies or even just playing a few notes at a time, it works great as a way to send MIDI in real time wirelessly. However, when I start using the sustain pedal and playing lots of notes at the same time, the latency just gets to where it's too much to be playing and listening back in real time. And while it is a cool feature, it's not at all the reason why I would buy a Jamcorder, as the main features and functionality that I mentioned before are more than enough for me to recommend the Jamcorder at $99. Now, this is normally the part of the video where I would say something like, if you're this type of person, then this may be worth checking out, but if you're this type of person, then you don't really need this. Truthfully, I think that the Jamcorder is one of those gadgets that, in my opinion, is useful for anyone who plays piano or synth. I guess, based on everything I said in this video, you should be able to decide for yourself whether or not you're willing to spend $99 on a Jamcorder. I wouldn't have reviewed this device if I didn't like it enough to share with you, so there's that. If you want to pick one up for yourself, click the link in the description, and after you do that, come back here and check out this video on the best MIDI controllers for every budget. And as always, thanks for hanging out.